Hi, Mark here. It is Thursday, May the 14th, 9:36 a.m. Eastern. Well into the US session. Let's have a look at the US dollar. And there you see the demand for US continuing. Third consecutive day. Higher highs, higher lows, and buyers testing resistance right now at 98.57. I've got support at 98.31. US dollar strength looking to test this resistance level now. We'll see if it can push higher through the US session, or if we're going to get a turnaround, sellers step in, bounce down off these resistance levels and look back down to the 98.31 support. But certainly strong US dollar in the early part of the US session. Let's have a look at the majors, starting on the euro against the US. And there you see a strong run, selling euro, buying US dollar strengthening, third consecutive day against the euro. I've got resistance at 117.22. I've got support at 116.87. That support being tested and broken right now. We'll see if that can be maintained, if US dollar strength continues through this US session. If we get a turnaround, as we so often do in the US session, buyers will look to bounce up off the support and look back up at the above 117, 117.22 resistance level. Let's have a look at the pound against the US. There you see, similarly to the euro, third consecutive day selling pound, buying US dollars. Lower highs, consecutive lower highs. We'll see if this continues and we get another lower low. Testing support right now at 134.95, looking to push below, break below the 135 level. I've got resistance at 135.32. US dollar against the yen. And again, strong US dollar. There you see it, higher highs, higher lows. I've got support at 157.54. I've got resistance at 158.12. That 158 tough level to break. It's already been broken now. We'll see whether buyers add to this and push even higher, continue with this uptrend and demand for US against a weak yen. If we're going to get a turnaround, sellers step in. We'll be looking back down at the support, which sits right now at 157.54. But certainly strong US dollar against a weak yen early in the US session. And let's have a look at the US against the Canadian. There you see the strong run the US is having against the Canadian continuing today. I've got support at 137. I've got resistance at 137.29. Buyers have broken above this stubborn resistance, which has held since the middle of April. Today, we see that strong push higher, and the highest we've seen since middle of April. We'll see whether this can be continued. US dollar strength against the weak Canadian. Support at 137, resistance 137.29. Buyers will look to add to that and to push even higher. Looking up at 138 would be the next level on the upside, quite away from there now. If we get a turnaround from strong to weak US dollar and sellers do step in, sellers will look to come back below the 137 and come and test support sitting at that 137 right now. So certainly to start today's trading, we saw it through the Asian European session continuing into the US session. Strong US dollar. We see it on the index. We're seeing it being tested, relative resistance and support levels on the majors. We'll see how that plays out during the rest of the trading day. Good trading, and I'll see you at the end of day.